This is a story that my teacher, Rabbi Mendel Futafas, he told me. It's sort of a parable, but the story is like this. He said that a Cossack was like one with his horse. I told you a story about a Cossack and his horse before, but here's another story. He said that the horses of the Cossacks were very smart. And the Cossack could tell his horse to do something and the horse would understand. So the Cossack, let's say, after one day of fighting or doing whatever he was doing, so he came to a quiet place by a tree and a brook, and he washed his face, whatever, and he lay down under this tree, and he tied his horse right next to him, tied his horse up, or maybe didn't even have to tie it up, and he told his horse to wake him up in a half an hour. And he went to sleep, slept soundly, and sure enough, after half an hour, the horse moved him and moved him, and he woke up, jumped on the horse, and started riding. He was riding and riding. Had to get back to his camp or whatever it was. But as he's riding, he smells this terrible smell, terrible smell. So he thinks to himself, well, probably it's in the woods. There's probably carcasses over here. Who knows what it is? So he spurs his horse on. They drove farther until they get to a field, open field. And in the field, it still just persists. The smell is just awful. And no matter how he tries to sort of cover over it, he can't cover it over. The smell must so he's thinking probably they just put fertilizer, animal manure on the field, and that's why it smells so bad. So he spurred his horse on until he got into the city. And in the city, the smell didn't go away. It just kept. So he said to himself, probably there's a tannery over here, a tannery where they tan hides, and it smells awful. Why did they build a tannery in the middle of the town? They're supposed to be for sure. These people really suffer terrible smell. Oh, I'm glad I don't live in this town. And he spurred his horse on until he went out of the city and left, and he still smelled the smell. So he stopped the horse and he started thinking, what could it be? It's not because of the carcasses that were in the woods, and it can't be because of the fertilizer that's in the field, and it can't because of the maybe it was a tannery. What could it be? He's sitting and thinking, and he has one of these big handlebar mustaches, and all of a sudden he goes like this, and he feels that there's a big piece of the horse's feces stuck in his mustache. It must have been when he was sleeping, somehow or other he rolled over and he didn't notice. He started to laugh and laugh and laugh. He realized that where did the smell come from? He was blaming everything else, but the smell was coming from him. And this is a very important story for each one of us, that sometimes we can blame other people. Things get us angry, the world gets us depressed, the world gets this, people let us down, people this. And you can get all frustrated and miserable from the world, and you blame that person, you blame this person, right? Like we talked about before, that's what happened when the first man, when he ate from the tree, he started blaming everybody, right? God said, "What'd you do?" He said, "Oh, the lady that you gave me, she gave me." God said, "Why did you?" Said to Eve, Chava, "Why did you eat?" So, oh, the snake. Everyone was blaming everybody else. Everyone that ate from the tree started blaming everybody else. And that's the same thing with us. Instead of coming face to face with our Creator and admitting our faults, right? We've got our faults. We do everything possible to avoid the truth until if we sit and we think for a while, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe the depression and the aggression and the addictions and everything is just coming from my own attitude. It's not from my upbringing and from and that if I take things into my own hands, I can easily change my entire life. Just clean off your mustache a little, and the world is much more less smelly and more pleasant. Have a good day with Mashiach now.